You've been taught that strength comes from surrounding yourself with the right people. That sounds comforting. It also keeps millions trapped, because the greatest prison is not built from walls, it is built from dependence. Think about this. How many decisions have you made because you genuinely believed they were right? And how many were quietly influenced by the fear of disappointing someone else? Most people never stop to ask that question. They simply follow the current. They learn to measure their worth through approval. They become experts at reading other people's faces before listening to their own minds. Little by little, they lose themselves, not in one dramatic moment, but through thousands of small compromises that seem harmless at the time. A smile they fake, an opinion they hide, a dream they postpone, a truth they refuse to speak. None of these choices feel dangerous, yet together they shape an invisible cage. Here's the truth. People rarely surrender their freedom by force. They surrender it willingly, because acceptance feels safer than independence. That is why loneliness frightens them more than failure. Silence frightens them more than noise. Being misunderstood frightens them more than becoming someone they never wanted to be. Now consider this. What if your greatest weakness has never been a lack of confidence? What if it has been the constant need to feel connected? Not because connection is wrong, but because dependence quietly disguises itself as love, loyalty, and belonging. There is a difference. One strengthens you, the other controls you. Most people never notice when they cross that line. They simply wake up one day realizing they no longer know who they are without someone else's opinion, without someone's approval, without someone's attention, without someone's presence. That realization is painful, but it is also the beginning of freedom. Because every transformation starts the same way, by seeing the chain before trying to break it. Imagine standing in a crowded room. Everyone is talking, everyone is laughing, everyone appears connected. Yet inside, almost every person is silently negotiating. They wonder whether they are interesting enough, successful enough, funny enough, important enough. They are performing, not living.
The strange part is that this performance has become so common that people mistake it for personality. They call it confidence. They call it being social. They call it fitting in. But beneath the surface lies one simple question. Will they still accept me if I stop pretending? That question controls more lives than fear itself. Understand this. The person who needs constant reassurance will always belong to whoever provides it. The person who needs applause will always dance for the audience. The person who fears rejection will eventually reject themselves first. This is where the philosophy begins, not with isolation, not with coldness, not with shutting people out. It begins with something far more powerful, the inner authority. Inner authority means your decisions are no longer borrowed, your emotions are no longer rented, your direction is no longer negotiated. You stop living as a reflection of other people's expectations. You become the author of your own mind. This is not easy because your mind has spent years learning the opposite. Since childhood, you have been rewarded for agreement, praised for obedience, comforted for conformity. Very few people were taught how to stand alone without feeling incomplete, so they grow older carrying the same invisible habit. They seek permission before action, validation before confidence, certainty before commitment, and approval before truth. Look around. How many dreams disappear before they even begin? Not because they were impossible, because someone laughed, someone doubted, someone said it could never work. One opinion became stronger than one conviction. That is how dependence quietly steals a future. Imagine another person, no louder, no smarter, no luckier than everyone else. The difference is invisible. They no longer ask the world who they should become. They ask themselves one question instead. What is true even if nobody applauds it? That single question changes everything, because when your compass points inward instead of outward, criticism loses much of its power, praise loses much of its temptation, comparison loses its grip. You stop reacting to every passing opinion like a boat tossed by every wave. Instead, you become the anchor, not because life becomes easier, but because your center no longer moves every time the world changes around you. And that is where most people become uncomfortable, because real independence is quiet. It does not announce itself. It does not demand attention. It simply refuses to surrender its direction. Most people mistake that silence for distance. They misunderstand calmness as weakness. They confuse restraint with fear. But stillness often hides the strongest mind in the room.
The loudest voice usually seeks recognition. The quietest mind often seeks understanding. Those are not the same pursuit. The first chases attention. The second builds power. And power that depends on attention disappears the moment attention fades. Power built from inner authority remains even when no one is watching. That is the path you are about to explore. Not the path of isolation, not the rejection of human connection, but the discipline of becoming so internally steady that your peace no longer depends on the changing opinions of the world. You carry conversations inside your head long after they have ended. Someone ignored your message, you replay it. Someone criticized your work, you replay that too. Notice what is happening. The event is over, yet your mind continues asking the same question. What did they really think about me? That question quietly consumes your attention, not because the answer matters, because your identity has become connected to other people's opinions. Think about this. The human mind is designed to search for belonging. Thousands of years ago, separation from the tribe often meant death. Your brain still carries that ancient wiring. It treats social rejection like physical danger. That is why criticism feels heavier than logic. That is why silence from someone important can ruin your entire day. Your body reacts before your mind has time to think. But here is the mistake. Ancient survival instincts are not always useful in a modern life. The brain cannot always distinguish between real danger and imagined rejection. A delayed reply feels like abandonment. A disagreement feels like a personal attack. An unfollow feels like losing value. Nothing has actually changed, yet your emotional state collapses. Understand this.
Emotional dependency is rarely created by one person. It is built through repetition. Every time you seek approval before trusting yourself, every time you change your opinion to avoid conflict, every time you silence your own voice to protect someone else's comfort, you strengthen that dependency. Small choices become permanent habits. Eventually, you no longer know the difference between your own desires and everyone else's expectations. Look around. People say they want freedom, yet they surrender their peace every single day. One compliment makes them feel unstoppable. One insult convinces them they are worthless. One rejection destroys weeks of confidence. How can your life belong to you if your emotions belong to everyone else? Ask yourself honestly, who controls your mood, your purpose, or the people around you? Because whoever controls your emotional state quietly controls your decisions, and decisions create your future. Now imagine another way of living. Imagine waking up without immediately checking whether someone replied. Imagine working without needing recognition. Imagine improving without announcing it. Imagine succeeding without waiting for permission to feel proud. That is not emotional numbness. That is emotional ownership. There is a difference. Ownership means your emotions become information instead of commands. You still feel disappointment, but disappointment no longer decides your next action. You still experience fear, but fear no longer becomes your leader. You still care about people, but you stop handing them the keys to your peace. Here's the truth. Most people confuse attachment with love. They believe needing someone proves they care. It doesn't. Need creates fear. Fear creates control. Control destroys freedom. Real connection begins when two complete people choose each other, not when two incomplete people depend on each other to feel whole. That changes everything because relationships become choices, not survival strategies. Think about a tree standing alone on a mountain. It survives storms because its roots grow downward, not outward. The deeper the roots, the stronger the tree. Your roots are your values, your discipline, your principles, your ability to remain steady when life becomes unpredictable.
Most people grow branches before they grow roots. They chase status before character, attention before wisdom, popularity before stability. Then the first strong wind arrives and everything falls apart. Not because life was unfair, because the foundation was never built. Now, consider this. Your greatest distraction may not be your phone. It may be your constant search for emotional certainty. You want guarantees before taking action. You want everyone to understand your vision. You want proof that you won't fail. Life offers none of those things. The people who move forward are not the ones without fear. They are the ones who stop negotiating with it. Every great decision feels uncertain in the beginning. Waiting until you feel completely comfortable is another form of avoidance. Comfort protects the present. Discomfort builds the future. This is why growth feels lonely, not because nobody loves you, because every meaningful transformation separates you from old habits before it introduces new possibilities. That space feels empty. Many people mistake that emptiness for failure. It is actually construction. Old identities are disappearing. New ones have not fully formed. Stay there. Do not rush to fill the silence, because silence reveals what noise has been hiding. When nobody is telling you who to become, who do you choose to be? When nobody is watching, who are you becoming? Those questions matter more than any compliment you will ever receive, because they reveal whether your life is directed from within or controlled from without. And once you discover that answer, the first principle of inner authority becomes impossible to ignore. From that moment forward, you stop asking, "How do I make people accept me?" You begin asking, "How do I become someone I can respect when I am completely alone?" That question changes everything. A philosophy means nothing until it changes your behavior. Ideas are easy to admire. Transformation begins only when those ideas become actions. Most people collect wisdom the way others collect photographs. They look at it, they save it, they never live it. Inner authority is different. It is not something you believe, it is something you practice every day, especially on the days when you least feel like it. That is where real change begins. Your attention is your most valuable possession, not your money, not your reputation, not your talent, because whatever holds your attention eventually shapes your identity. Think about this. The first thing you do every morning quietly decides the direction of your mind. If you immediately search for notifications, your day begins with reaction. If you immediately compare yourself with others, your day begins with insecurity. If you immediately consume noise, your mind never hears itself. Attention works like water. Where it flows repeatedly, growth follows. Look around. Entire industries compete for one thing, not your wallet, your focus. Because whoever owns your attention slowly influences your thoughts, and your thoughts become your habits, habits become your character, character becomes your destiny. Ask yourself honestly, how much of your day belongs to your purpose and how much belongs to distractions you never consciously chose? The strongest minds are not those who know everything. They are those who decide what deserves their attention. Everything else becomes background noise. From this day forward, protect your attention with intention, because every moment you reclaim a piece of yourself.
Most people spend enormous energy trying to be understood, but constant explanation is often hidden insecurity. Think about this. When you know exactly why you are doing something, do you truly need everyone else to approve? Probably not. The need to explain usually appears when your confidence depends upon agreement. Understand this. Not everyone deserves access to your reasoning. Not everyone shares your vision. Some people judge from fear, others judge from comfort. Many judge simply because change makes them uncomfortable. If you build your life around convincing everyone, you will never have time to build your life. Silence often carries more confidence than endless words. This does not mean becoming secretive, it means becoming secure. Secure people allow results to speak before opinions do. Imagine planting a seed. Would you dig it up every morning to prove it is growing? Of course not. Growth happens underground first. Your life follows the same principle. Protect your progress while it is still fragile. Not everything needs an audience. Some victories become stronger because they were built quietly. Remember this, your responsibility is not to explain your direction. Your responsibility is to walk it. Feelings are real, but they are temporary. Decisions create the future. Confusing the two creates chaos. Imagine standing before two roads. One feels comfortable, the other feels uncertain. Most people mistake comfort for wisdom, but comfort only protects what already exists. Growth almost always introduces uncertainty. Think about your own life. How many opportunities disappeared simply because the timing felt inconvenient? How many dreams remained unfinished because motivation disappeared? Feelings rise, feelings fall. Purpose must remain. The person ruled by emotion constantly changes direction. One difficult day becomes a reason to quit. One small success becomes a reason to relax. Progress becomes inconsistent. Now imagine another person. They also feel fear. They also experience doubt. They simply refuse to temporary emotions, permanent authority. That is emotional maturity. You acknowledge the feeling, you understand it, then you ask one question:
What decision still serves my future? That single question separates impulse from intention, and intention always wins over time. Confidence is widely misunderstood. Many believe it means speaking loudly, winning arguments, displaying achievements, being noticed. Real confidence needs none of those things. Real confidence becomes quieter as it grows stronger. Think about the ocean. The deepest water is rarely the loudest. Surface waves create noise. Depth creates stillness. The same is true of people. The insecure seek recognition. The secure seek improvement. One depends on applause, the other depends on progress. Look around. The people constantly announcing their potential often spend little time developing it. Meanwhile, someone unknown continues practicing while nobody watches. Months pass, years pass. Eventually, their preparation becomes impossible to ignore. Quiet confidence grows from repeated promises kept to yourself. Every morning you rise when you planned. Every difficult task you complete. Every temptation you resist. Every commitment you honor. You quietly build evidence. Confidence stops being a feeling. It becomes memory.
A memory that says, I have already proven I can trust myself. That kind of confidence cannot be borrowed. It must be earned. And once earned, very little can take it away. This may be the hardest principle of all, not because solitude is painful, because dependence has become normal. People fear being alone, not because solitude hurts, because silence removes distractions. And without distractions, you finally hear your own thoughts. Many people avoid that moment for years. They keep themselves busy, always watching, always scrolling, always talking, always consuming, anything to avoid sitting quietly with themselves. But your greatest teacher often speaks only when everything else becomes silent. Imagine spending 1 hour with no entertainment, no music, no notifications, no conversations, only your thoughts. Would that feel peaceful or uncomfortable? Your answer reveals your relationship with yourself. The person who cannot remain alone constantly seeks escape. The person who becomes comfortable alone discovers something extraordinary. Their happiness stops depending upon constant stimulation. Their confidence stops depending upon constant validation. Their peace stops depending upon perfect circumstances. Solitude becomes a place of renewal rather than loneliness. Understand this carefully. Being comfortable alone does not mean rejecting people. It means refusing to abandon yourself simply to avoid being alone. That is freedom. And freedom changes every relationship you will ever have. Because when you no longer need people to complete you, you begin choosing people who help you grow. The strongest connections are never built from desperation. They are built from mutual strength. These 5 principles are only the beginning. Together, they create a foundation, but foundations remain invisible. The real transformation begins when these principles are tested by pressure, failure, uncertainty, temptation, and time. That is where inner authority stops being an idea and becomes your identity.